let's get started. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's going well. We've got both cats in here at the moment, so Socks is staring at the other one. There you go, Socks. You know what? Big people for treats. You know you want to. Alright, hopefully everyone's going well today. We're going to focus mostly on unit tests today. I did start downloading the Oracle database and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't get it to work. However, that being said, I didn't spend too much time on it. What I want to do, however, is focus on unit tests today. We need to sort of get that out the door as the next sort of functionality. Documentation is going to follow after that too, and yeah. All right, so let's just get into it. So I've been having a look at all of this, and I'm like, all right, cool. Some of it's at 100%. So for example, the sprint list view API, and we're like, all right, cool, that hits it perfectly. Yeah, because we just call the one thing in here and easy done. And others are not quite there yet. Sorry, that came out of nowhere. So for example, the task API. So we don't have a create task with the API. We don't have a destroy call with the API. We don't have a list and so forth like that. These are easy to set up. So we're just going to go ahead and set that up very, very quickly. And yeah, we're just going to jump straight into it. So, excuse me, I am just going to complete this cube first. I don't know why. There we go. I'm going to put it well out of the range of me for the moment. We're going to go from the top down. It's just going to be easier that way. Yeah. Idea being is we're going to create the unit tests. We're going to test the permissions also at the same time. So we're going to do unit tests for the administrator and so forth, and then go down that way. We're then going to probably look at how we should be testing the data. So what results we expect coming out, and so forth like that. So yeah, we've also, I know that some of the things we paginate, and I know that we're getting quite a lot of warnings because of that. We'll keep an eye out for that too. So yeah. Let's jump into customer list API view. So straight off the bat, we don't have a list. Line 53 didn't jump to line 60 because the condition on line 53 was always true. So we've got a bad request there. Sucks. What was that for? All right. There we go. And now she wants back. So I'm going to have to look at the unit tests that actually hit this. And what I want to do is check to be like, all right, cool. Are we purposely making this fail or not? If we are making it purposely fail, great. We'll put one in. That doesn't, holy hell, sorry, God. Those yawns are coming out of nowhere. All right, cool. We've just hit an ad break. Yay. For those on YouTube wondering what's happening, we have ads every half an hour on Twitch. They suck pre-rolled ads, they suck. So yeah, we tend to do this so no one misses out. Okay, let's stand up. Let's get this down. Charge my phone. All right, how are we with the ads? About 30 seconds left of the ads. I'm just checking. Alright, it looks like I am going to have to get some time off. Alright, what's left? Refer to Discord / blog post. Alright, cool. Yep, alright, I can ignore most of that. Almost finished. I just realized that the lens is a little bit dirty. I can't find a little... Welcome back, everyone! Okay, cool. And we also... Socks is back. So I'll just do that. So straight off the bat, we're hitting this. Now, this is... Customer List API View. So what I want to do, I want to close all tabs. I want to go Git. We're on the documentation branch. I just want to... Alright, cool. Easy, done. What we want to do is we want to go onto the develop branch. We're going to check that out. Socks just ran away. No, she's back. I don't know why you keep running back and forth, Socks. Okay. Struggle town today, getting the camera right. Alright. So, we should be on the develop mode now. I'm just going to minimize everything. We're going to open up NearBeach, tests. Don't socks. You sit down. I know. There we go. Butt rubs. Right. People come to see you. Alright, so in this sort of case, what we want to do is we want the test API, test user permissions, and then we've got this particular one. Now, if we... Available data to do, check why the test isn't working in the test stream. It works well when manually testing. Alright, cool. This is one of those things where... So I'm just having a good think. So what's actually happening is this is breaking for some strange reason with the destination 2, even though it does exist. I think it's because we're deleting something before we get to it. I do need to review these tests thoroughly. Alright, data list. Yeah, because we've got available data customer list. Why are we getting a 301? That's a found. Oh, move permanently. Why are we getting a move permanently? Okay. We should be getting 301s. We should be logged in, and it should be going directly to it. Alright. Coffee works. Customer works. Now, that's one thing I want to... Okay. Yeah, alright. So Django unit tests, best practice for isolating tests. Automatically set up. Alright, use description, descriptive test names, yep. Alright, okay. Best practice tips, writing unit tests. Do this so you guys can also read it. Alright, yep. Alright, mock only when needed, yep. Alright, cool. Yeah, I'm just wondering. Yeah, rewrite these once we have applied the object assignment ID into the data. Alright, cool. There's a lot of to-dos in here. And the Bob I know, how are you going? Yeah, I'm going well. I am looking forward to the summer. So in the next couple of weeks, I have to do quite a lot of my garden. Because I've got quite a lot of vegetables I need to plant and so forth like that. So I'm hoping my corn and sunflowers start sprouting this week. That way I can plant them. And then following that, in about 2 weeks after that, I plant beans and stuff like that. I'm hoping my tomatoes start growing soon. As well as a bunch of basil and other stuff too. So yeah, it's going good. And today we are trying to figure out the unit tests. So yes. I'm just going through this massive thing. We do the fixtures there, then it's got one fixture for all of it. And yeah. Alright, let's you can't keep jumping back and forth socks. Okay. Okay. Alright, so oh, sorry, that's just the thing. And then, yeah, this is the data list. So test available data. Got to figure out why that's not doing it and why those are 301s. Oh, it's because they're missing the / at the end. No, I get it now. Alright. So straight off the bat, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over here. We're going to go cd into the NearBeach directory. We're going to go source vm activate to actually activate our virtual environment. Python 3 manage. And we're just going to write test. So we're going to fail straight away. I'm just going to cancel all that. There we go. So 400 doesn't equal to 200. And I don't know why. So if we run this data, we've got Postman somewhere. Oops, excuse me. Postman. Here we go. I'm just going to go no to don't. I'm just not going to save that. All right. So what I want to do is this is a part of the available data. Is we're going to go in here. We're going to look for available data. There we go. And then this will be, let's say, yeah, team leader, customer list. So team leader, customer list. So here it is. We just need a new token. That's pretty easy to do nowadays. We just jump into here. We'll just go to localhost. We'll boot up everything. We'll just go to the administration. I'm going to go directly to the users. I'm just going to go with the admin user. We're just going to create an API key, test key. Easy done. And then we just copy that. We go over here. We are just going to override that. Easy done. And we're just going to hit send. And it works here for some strange reason. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the body. So we've got destination and location in there. So we've got destination as project and location ID as 2. So I'm just going to copy and paste everything. Just in case I've done a spelling mistake and I can't see it. Alright. Whoa. I think that was it. No, that wasn't it. Okay. All right, I am going to have to find out what's going on here. So that is available data, customer list / I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it on that just in case. But all of that should be working. Okay. The other thing I want to do is this actually hits the run test array and so forth like that. And I'm also got to think about this too, being like, should I create this as a generic and then expand upon it? And that way I could split everything up into its own classes. And then I could be very ultra specific about certain things. But that's not neither here or there. All right. So we've got the fixtures, basic setup. That's all fine. Oh, I don't have the basic setup fixture done on my one. So what I'm going to do, let's remove database. Let's go Python 3 manage migrate. So we're just putting everything we're setting up the database again and we're going to use the same fixture. So we want then Python 3 manage load data, and then we're just going to go NearBeach fixtures, NearBeach basic setup. There we go. We've got everything set up like that. I'm just going to rerun the server. We're going to recreate that API key, and we're going to test again. So I'm going to log in. Don't worry, we know the password. We're going to go to users. We're going to go to admin. Going to scroll down. We just click on this. I'm just going to put test in there. It doesn't really matter. We won't be saving these API keys. Then in the headers, we just override that, and we go send. You get everything. Okay. Now, another thing I've got to check out is, am I doing something silly like this, where I haven't set it up properly? And it looks fine. Okay. All right, I'm going to try one more. Manage. Test. And the instant fails will escape out. It failed. All right, cool. Failed right away. Test API data to run tests. URL, API, all of that. Yep. Destination, project. Yep. Status code. All right, cool. Yeah. 400. So that's like bad data. So like a bad request. So I shouldn't be setting this up as a bad request. Because it should be the same as... I might have. Nope. Because, yeah, that's a bad request. We get 405 method not allowed. Okay. Should be... Actually, that's one thing I should actually double check there. Yeah, 405 method not allowed. That's George W. Bush trying to eat a little kitten. There you go. Alright, destination project, location ID. We're gonna have to debug this. So, going up here, we've got if method get, we get the response, and then we do the assert afterwards. I'm going to put down here, no, don't freaking insert no. Insert stuff I don't want. So if response dot status code equals 400 and data dot status code equals, actually, tell you what, we can go by the URL. Alright, so that will be data.url equals, sorry, it's going to be 2 equals. And we're just going to key it in there like that, and then we're going to do something in here, and I think it's... what is it? Debug break, the break debug. Breakpoint. Been a while since I've done this. So what I want to do, I'm going to rerun that. Boom, yep. So we should see the response. We should then go vars response to see all the values within it. So we've got template none. We should have one that has the reason why it's failing. Destination. This field is required. get this now. I know why exactly. I think I know why this is breaking. Exit. And fuck. All right, I don't know how to get out of that. But what I think is happening is, because this is a get, it doesn't actually have access to this. I've set this up wrong. Yeah, gets don't have form data. Yeah, form data does not have data around form data. Yeah, it's like it's got to be method post. Okay, not a problem. Localhost API version 0. This will be let's. Yeah. I don't think it can be part of the quarks. Let's have a look. All right, I'm going to need to fix that up. That is definitely a bug. So going in here, we're going to minimize this. We're going to open up this. We're going to go into the NearBeach, views, API, available data, customer list API. So in here, and yeah, it's a get here, but if I essentially it's treating it like this. So yeah, it doesn't like it. And then sorry, I just do client get to the data. Yeah, it's not. Get doesn't have data in it. Okay, so where's my code? All right, we've got a class. We've got all of this. We've got the list. And it's not really a list. And this is where I'm going to have to look up a few things. Django REST framework. Make list a post. I just need to find the best practices for this. To make a post request, create multiple objects, a list. We don't want to make a list. We actually want to posting a list using no. All right. So we've got our list. Yeah, all right. Used for read-only endpoints to represent a single model instance, provides a get method handler. All right, not what I want. Oh, list create view. All right, used for rewrite endpoints to represent a collection of model instances, provides a. All right, we want this. list create API view. So having a look at this, where's my class definition? View set. List API view. All right, let's have a look. View sets dot list. No. All right. So there's a view set. Okay. Let's see if we can import stuff. No. All right. HTTP method. Oi. Names equals, and we're just going to do post. I just want to see what actually happens with this. So if we change this, get method is not allowed. Perfect. If we change it to a post, not quite. All right. Alright, primarily handles GET requests for retrieving a list of resources. It does not provide a built-in functionality for creating, updating, or deleting individual instances, which is what we want. Generic view, it's part of the generic views, which are pre-built classes that have common API practices and boilerplate code, extends the and the list modal mix-in. Alright, cool. How to use, define a serialized, alright, that's probably... Okay. All right. Let's try it out. So what we want here is generics. Just gonna get rid of that. So going down here, we've got this. We want the generics.list API view, because we don't want to create or anything like that. This is cannot find reference. All right, not a problem. Should be something like that. There, I typed it in wrong. And then for, ooh, this is a good question. How will this now work? Filtering, you can override the get query set method to apply a custom filtering logic to return. All right, cool. I'm probably gonna do that. So give me a couple of seconds. What we need to do is we need to go def. We don't have the post. All right. Here it is. Generics, list API view. We've got model student. In this sort of case, it isn't up here. We've got the serialized. We don't actually have a particular model. All right, this might be too generic or specific. Just going to go to generic API views. So we'll have a query set which we don't need. Serialize a class which we do need. Lookup field, that's perfectly fine. Lookup long, yep, we won't need any of that. Pagination we won't need. Filtering we don't need. Methods. Get query set returns. A query set should be all right. Cool. We won't need that. Get object, no. Get serialize class, no. We kind of need a post. Let's create API view. Hang on, I might have the wrong thing. So let's go back here. That should be then list create API view. So we're actually going to ignore the listing. Technically, we're not creating anything. But we are sending data. So def, it's not update. Response data equals none. Status equals that. I'm just going to test this very, very quickly by just breakpointing that. We had the debug running. We're going to post that straight to that. Error connection. We've got a problem. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to restart just in case it's something something easy. Nope, customer has no get extra actions. Okay. Give me the line. Customer list view set has no get extra actions. Alright, there we go. No, URL patterns include all of that. All right. You break one thing and you break everything. Okay, cool. Let's go in here. Let's just undo everything I was just doing. All right, so we're back at the start today. I think I know what we can do. So let's just reset the server. All right. I've just got a just having a quick think. By technicality, it isn't a create. A post request typically initiates the creation of a new object. All right, cool. Get that has form data. A Django REST framework primarily expects data in structures like JSON, post, put, or patch requests. Well, you can send form data, multiple form with get requests. It's less common and typically used for query parameters. Alright, here's how to handle form-like data in DRF, specifically focusing on get requests. So I wonder if we fix it up like this. When you send the data via get requests, it's typically encoded as query parameters. Yep. You can access these parameters in Django REST framework using request query parameters. Alright, so instead of yeah, it might be one of those things that we move this to query parameters. For a robust validation and type conversion of query parameters, you can you can leverage the DRF serializers. You can also get them. All right, cool. Serializers, data request query params. Yep. Oh. Get requests is generally discouraged. Get requests should ideally be audio content and used for retrieving data, while post is used for creating. Yep, all right. Be mindful that sensitive data and get request query parameters as they are visible in browser and server logs. Yep. Browsing API formats better push, but get requests, it's primarily focused on displaying retrieved data. You typically interact get requests by directly modifying the URL parameters. Yeah, so I'm just trying to think, what would we do if we were searching for something? We would send that data in query parameters, wouldn't we? Django REST framework search search example. Just want to see what that sets everything up. That sets up the URLs. Okay, there's our serializer. There's our views, URLs. Yep, all right, cool. Yeah, they're using query parameters. All right. I'm doing my first DRF and wondered if it is possible to use the Django filter backend for filtering specific fields and use a search filter at the same time. Alright, not exactly what I want, but they're sending that data to the backend as query string. Which yeah, I could do. Alright. Okay, rating serializer. Yep. Okay. Yeah, they're doing it like that. Let's change it then. Let's do best practice. So I can close a lot of this now. So going back here. So this is the customer list. Instead of request.data, we're going to put query parameters, like so. And that will just mean that this no longer has data going in there. We're going to break a lot of the system today. We'll no longer have data in there because it's a get. And what we need to do in here is put destination equals project and location ID equals 2. And let's have a look. That took forever. Alright, so we want to go Python 3 manage test. I'm going to remove this breakpoint as we don't need it anymore. Easy done. We just got to wait for the server to come back. Easy done. We just need to hit test. I'm just looking at how much will be broken. Alright, so far so good. Famous last words though. Oh, I don't know why it's taking this long. It must be the doing large sets of data there. Yeah, socks. Alright. Cool. That was it. So now with that knowledge, we know what to do and what not to do. Oops, sorry, Soxa just booped you heavily on the nose then. She's like, what the hell? So I'm going to go down here. We've just fixed this one up. We're happy with it. We are going to do something like this. I really should. Another thing I want to do is I want to make sure that one sort of doesn't work. So that one gets 301. Okay, so I'm happy with that one. That is the same as that. So I'm just going to remove that. I'm going to yank both of these lines. I'm going to put it down here. And I'm just going to change these to 1. Easy done. So this should work on those cases. Now the customer list one, that shouldn't work because we have no data. The one with post, Should not work because method not allowed. That's fine. Alright, so sprint list. That should give us data without any problem. So if we actually go over here, we go /, let's sprint list and / again. There's our sprint list. Easy done. We don't need to send it any data to filter anything. Though in the future, that could be something that we can set up easily. So we've got the 200 destination location, 300 get. Oh, we're not actually sending form data to it. We're just testing to make sure that it forwards. That is 405 method not allowed. Tag list, that's 200. We don't need this data in there at all. That should be thrown. Yep. All right, cool. And post. Sweet. And then we just need to test 1 or 2 sprint list. 404. Yeah, all right, cool. So what we want to do, so we actually want to do one of these where it'll be 404. For those two. And tag list. Maybe 404 for the both of those. Alright. Oops. So Python 3 manage test. Okay. Yeah, so I've got a ticket in already to sort of investigate the pagination and how to do it properly. So we're just ignoring those warnings today. We're not going to touch them. I just want to get more unit tests in the system first. All right, and we've got to update the documentation to over here. So in here gathers the list of customers parameters, and that should be query parameters. Destination, it will be one of those. Ooh, we're going to test this with spaces and stuff like that. And then location. All right, cool. So going back over here, we want to, I'm just going to go back to the test. We're going to grab this again. So we've got socks in there, destination, task will work perfectly fine, and then we've got requirement. But what about requirement item? Alright, not a problem. Let's go to the API. Let's actually hit that little thing in there. Let's double check that we're not doing anything silly. So we're in here, we've got destination serialize, we've got the is valid. So serializer is valid. All right, no, I gotta get rid of that line. All right. Just gonna wait a little bit. We're gonna hit reload again. All right, cool. So it says with the errors, the destination error details requirement item is not a valid choice, code invalid choice. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's have a look at the destination serialization. So destination, we've got the object array. And if we go into that implementation, we've got requirement underscore item. Okay, cool. So if I hit play in here, that requirement item should be like that. And there you go, that will work perfectly fine. So if I go back up here, I'm going to put that in here like this so people will know what to do. So we've got query parameters there. And then what I want to also do is have an example. And this is where I actually have a look at the other stuff to see if we've got examples in there. Yes, we do. All right, cool. In here, it'll be part of there. So it'll be examples equals, and then we've got something like that, and then we do something like that, and then we go open API example. We're just going to call example 1. Description equals get list of customers assigned to project 1, and then it will be this is where I don't know. All right, let's have a look at the Swagger. Because currently at the moment we've got parameters and we set it up like that, and then we'll be getting rid of this because it's no longer needed. But I don't know how to do an example with a query string. And let's look it up. Django REST framework example with query string. This is actually something else. This isn't. This is part of the open up. All right, cool. Examples injected by the for parameters is simply not implemented, I believe. No one asked for it. Examples are all right, cool. Looks like I won't have examples. That's fine. So I'll just, not get rid of all of that. Cool. We'll just do that. We'll go flying up here. We'll get rid of that because we no longer need it in here. All right, cool. So just made a quick change. I'm happy with that. It does mean that if we do actually call that anywhere, we'll need to update it right away. So if we just go customer list, self-test. All right, cool. That's NearBeach URL. That one's fine. Customers module. No, that's fine. That's a different URL. All right, cool. I'm happy with that. So we've got a couple of tests in. Everything should now be working around here. Yeah, we should. I do believe we did a test before and it worked perfectly fine. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to move on to the next one. So we've done the available data. Now the coffee one, that's just the joke one. We'll actually move on to the next one. We've got the customer. So with the customer one, I think this is all set up how we wanted it to be set up. Yep. Kanban board, we're happy with all of that. To do 0.32, rewrite these once we applied the object assignment ID into the data. Yep, all right, cool. Yeah, that's a 0.32 thing. Alright, going back down to do currently missing the object assignment ID. We'll need to write these in after we deploy that. Alright, cool. Yeah, alright. I've done something there. I don't know, but I've done something. Alright, test organization data. Alright, to expand the above note tests. We'll need to test deleting editing. Alright, cool. We won't do that today, but that will be done. So, yeah. Test API project data. Write the delete functionality for both users and groups, writing for object ID. Yep, alright, cool. So yeah, in 0.32 we'll be doing something that we've got a test for. Though, am I not sending links and stuff like that through? We've got the potential. Yeah, we don't have the connections. Okay, cool. Waiting for the object assignment ID to pass through. Oh, and we're on another ad break. All right, hopefully everyone's going well. For those on YouTube, we do this every half an hour. Yeah, Twitch gets ads. So we do this. No one misses out on anything. Oops, I dropped the ball. Okay. About 50 seconds worth of ads left. All right. So I'm just doing this very, very quickly. For the 0.32 stuff, it might be something we implement sooner rather than later. I've got to figure out why we didn't implement that and start implementing it. Yeah, because we don't want too many changes between version 0 and version 1. The idea being is when we do release 0.32, the API, you just go, all right, cool, from version 0, we're just marking up for version 1, done. That's the idea of that, and that's how we want it. All right, so I'm just going to add more sprints and objects for unit testing. Yep. All right, cool. So we've got a bunch of to-dos to do. But in this sort of case, let's get back to this. So this is customer list API view. we now shouldn't be hitting this as an issue. We should actually be doing a lot of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go get status, git add. We're adding in both, and we're going to go git commit. API changes to the, and this was the customer list API. Changes to the customer list API. The get will now use query parameters instead of for data, as that's best practice. Yeah, we're just going to push that. Now that should run perfectly fine. Famous last words, of course. And then what we want to do is we want to actually check later on how code coverage for this becomes, because what I think will happen is it will no longer hit this. It'll hit all of this now and work perfectly fine. We do have a case where the serializer was false, so this should become 100%, this particular one, and double check it in a minute. But first, let's move on to the next one. So 100%, 100%, these are fine. If it's 100%, I'm like, yeah, cool, we can move on. I am wanting to go here, so change task API. So we don't have anything for the change task at the moment for the API. I'm trying to think if we have a change. We do have a change task set up. We should be able to get data and stuff like that and test everything. Yes. All right. Cool. I'm trying to think, why haven't I done this? Shouldn't take us too long, famous last words, shouldn't take us too long to do this. I'm just trying to remember what the URLs are. So it'll be localhost, it'll be API, version 0, it'll be request for change, and then it'll be a 1, and then it'll be change task. And there's our change tasks for the request for change 1. And then from here, we can go, all right, cool, we want change task ID. I think it's 1, 1. And then we've got the 1, 1, 1s. And then I think if we do 1, 2, that works, but 1, 3 won't work because that's no change task matches the given query. So yeah. I don't know why I didn't write those in. So let's have a look in here. Change task. Change. For change data. Is that meant to be change task data? There you go. All right, so we're going to go self.url test. We're going to write API, oops. We're going to write API version 0 request for change. I'm going to do a 1 for the start and then change task. And then do that, and then that will be a 200 get. Easy done. That one will be a 200 get. And these will be the 301s. Easy done. And now we want to do the failing ones. So in this sort of case, this will be a 400, I do believe. Let me just double check that. 404. So this will be a 1. This will be a 3, and this will be a 1. Oh, I've got to do the passing ones too. Alright, cool. I'm just going to go up. So that will be a 1 will pass. That'll be a 3 will pass. That will be a 1 that redirects, and that will be a 3 that redirects. Alright, so pass, 3, 3, and then these will be 4, 4. So we should have all of those. So we go into here. We haven't destroyed any yet, but we will. Just wondering. So I'm just thinking about CRUD, the deletion of the objects and stuff like that. I know it might be a problem. So one of the problems I will have with the CRUD, so part of the deletion section of it, is that it might delete something I'm going to be testing for. So I might delete a test case, or I might delete a requirement, or I might delete a request for change. And then I go test the sub-object. And of course, sub-object won't exist anymore. The user won't have access to it because it is deleted, which makes sense. So the problem is with that is I've got to figure out what can I do. Now I could always create another object and then delete that, which I think is the smartest thing to do. Because when we go create something like a change task, we know how many change tasks are in the system. So we know what the ID is going to be like. And then we just destroy it afterwards. Now, the other problem is it might change the unit tests for the other... that's fine. We're going to change the unit tests anyway for the less privileged users. At the moment, we're only writing the unit tests at the administration level, with the idea being once we get all of the unit tests that we're happy with, we're going to copy this file and paste it and then manipulate it, or change it, I should say, to reflect what happens when there's a non-privileged user. So actually going through and being like, all right, cool, this read-only user can't get any of this data. They're going to have a 404 or something to state that they don't have access, and so forth like that. So we've got to think about the CRUD and how we're going to do this. So at the moment, if we write down so we'll have the create, we'll have the read, this is done, we'll have the update, definitely not done, and we'll have the delete. So other things I could potentially do is update something and then hope that we get some data back. Don't know. Oh, sorry. The other thing is I could write specific tests, so for CRUD also, which will not exist in the permission side of things, but actually handle looking at the results of the CRUD. So when a user updates, let's say, a change task, we then fetch those results and we make sure that they are exactly how we wanted them. Make sure that it does get updated. Make sure the creation date, the modification date has changed. Make sure these other particular pieces of data have been updated correctly and so forth like that. I think that will be the best way to do it. And here we just focus on the permissions, whether or not they get 200 results and so forth like that. Okay, cool. So I just have to state what I want to do exactly. Yeah. Okay, because it will be too hard to actually implement that in here. This is just quick and easy. All right, cool. Yep, I know what to do. All right. So yeah, at the moment, these are only testing whether or not the user has permission. So this particular user, the admin user, has permission. When we go and copy this to do for the other less privileged users, we will go through and, you know, make some changes. All right, cool. So we've got the read. I'm just writing CRUD again. So we got the read, we don't have the create, so we can do the create, update, and then delete. I think that's going to be the best way of doing it. So I'm just going to go self.url test. We're going to start doing this on new lines like this, and the reason being is we're going to be using up a lot of this. And don't worry about that. That will be a post. And then that will be a 201 created. So this is API version 0 to request for change. I'm just going to go 1 for the moment, change task. We're going to insert some data into here. I'm just going to, piss off. I'm just going to go over to here again. So this is change task. Change task is at the bottom. So I'll need all of this data. So form data, raw, no, all right, cool. Thank you. All right, sweet. Not a problem. We'll update this as we go along. All right. I'm just putting in some values like this. at, and then this should be something like that. Now that true is not going to help. We have to put it in like this. It's annoying as hell, I understand. So that should be like that. So it should connect the assigned user and this user into there correctly. All right, we should be happy with that. This will be definitely a post. We've got to do this for number 2 too. The reason being why we do it for 1 and 2 is when I actually copy this over, one will be a access denied and the other one will be like, all right, cool, go ahead. That's why we're doing it at this level. Also acts as a baseline for us to, so I'm just going to go like that, and also we should have a / on there. We should definitely have a / on there. And what I can do is on here I can now that should be a 301, that should be a 301, this should then be a post, this should then be a simple post. We're just checking for the 301s beforehand, and then it does this, so we'll be happy with that. Actually, no, I'm gonna scrap that idea. I'm gonna put it after. So we test the success first, and then we get the 301s, and then we want to do an update on this, and that should be both 1 and 2. Okay. So So I'm just having a good think about the tasks. So we've got the CRUD, so that's the creation. We've got the read. With the update, we're going to update those exact ones. But I think we don't have as many fields, which is good. So if we go down here, I think it's, yeah, it's part of the put. Yeah, all right. So what I want to do, so I want to copy this. I'm going to go down. I'm just going to paste that in like that. We're going to change this to put. And we're also going to change this to put. Now, this is where things can go wrong. I'm assuming that there'll be a 3 in here. And this one will be a 4 if we do them in order. In theory, it should work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go Python 3 manage test. We're going to test it. So I don't want to rely on theory. Got a bunch of Fs. All right, 200 doesn't equal 201. Where is that? So that is test unit permissions, API, admin. That is part of the change task for Status code 200 doesn't equal. Oh, okay, cool. Yep. So straight away, this should be a 200. Yep. That should also be a 200. Yep, we're happy with that. I do believe we changed our start date, end date. Yep, that's fine. Title, QA user. I think that's all that we need in there too. Test API admin, run test array. 200 doesn't equal 400. Dude. Tell you what, let's just focus on see if we've actually fixed 2 of our issues. Looks like we have. I'm just going to do that. We're just going to wait for everything to cool down and tell us what went wrong. All right, so the URL is change task 2. All right, so status code 200, method get 404 doesn't equal 200. And Amir, how are you going? Are you late? No, you're not late. I've only started streaming about an hour and a half ago. We're just working on unit tests. Slow evening. We're trying to A, get more unit tests in, B, cover more code coverage and stuff like that, and C, essentially set up all of our permission testing for the API. We're not doing the thorough checking of the API. We're just making sure that if we hit it as an admin user, we get back a correct result. And then, all right, so I'm going to try and find this. Yeah, we're getting there. Every single time I do unit tests, I find bugs. Okay, so request for change 2. That's saying that that's a 200. Now we've got some data over here. If I do that, Oh, I think we found a bigger issue. Why is... we found another issue. Every single change task is connected to just one request for change. We've only got change task ID 1 in here, and if we go to the second one, we've only got number 2 in there. So straight off the bat, that should be a 2. That's fine, that's fine. Those will be redirected. That will be fine, that will be fine. Redirected, that one will be redirected. That one should do a 404, and so should that one. Alright. So why is request for change? Let's do that, and then the ID is that, and then we do a 2 here. That should not be coming up with that. So I'm going to quickly test for that. So what I want to do is I want to close that. I want to close that. I want to close that. I want to close that, and I want to close that. We're only focusing on what we need to do, and we've got the change task API in here. So we don't need the create, we don't need the destroy, we need the list. So I'm going to do something like that. I'm just going to hit this. Maybe I need something down here. Retrieve. Yes. There we go. I've done the wrong one. So I'm going to get rid of that one. So down here, so query change task objects filter is deleted. I'm not checking. So if we do the list, up here, we've got the request for change flags. We need that also in the data. So going into here, we're just going to do something like this. We're just going to paste it in like that. So that's what is meant to happen. You don't want to accidentally give someone a change task that belongs somewhere else. So this is why we're putting it in the query setup here, and then this handles up. We can't find the object, sorry. So if I hit refresh, I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to hit play. There we go. No change task matches the given query, which is what we want. So if I go back here, let's rerun these tests. Once again, we always find bugs when we write these unit tests. Always very valuable, these unit tests. All right, so I'm just going to run to completion. And then once it's all completed, we are we're going to go right back into it. All right, cool. So I'm happy with that. Now, we've handled the CRUD change. Sorry, we've handled the create, read, update. Now we're handling the delete. So to do the delete, we essentially go self.url test API version 0. It's a request for change. Now we're going to do the unsuccessful first, but first, I'm sorry, we've just hit an ad break on Twitch, so yeah, we'll do this for a little bit. For those on YouTube, we do this every half an hour to stop the pre-rolled ads. You just get to see me really, and what sort of board games I have behind me, which is Dead Cells. I have other ones too. Just Dead Cells is up there. Yeah, how's everyone going? Hopefully you're going well. We're also joined here by Socks. She's like, oh, your butt's very slippery. There we go. Say hi, Socks. She's like, sup. Yes, people are watching. All right, we've got about 40 seconds left. I need a haircut soon. Hopefully soon. Oh, I've mucked this up, haven't I? Yes, I have. Alright, where are we? 14 seconds to go. Okay. And welcome back, everyone. All right, let's get back into it. So we're going to do the delete, but first we're going to do the fail delete, because once we actually do delete, it's deleted. It's just not going to work. So I am going to go API version 0, request for change. We're going to go to change task 1. We don't need anything. We need a 404 and we need a delete. I'm just going to copy that and paste it down here. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch the numbers. Whoops. Like so. I'm just going to copy those numbers again. We're just going to paste them down. And then all I need to do is go 1, 2, and they shall be, I know we send back a particular status, so give me 2 seconds. It's not 201, 204, no content. So we literally tell the user, hey, we don't have that content anymore. And that's it for the CRUD. I should test for this again. Because we've got to set up in the system to be to be like that. All right, I am going to run the tests. Let's hope we don't see any fails. Oh, we see 4 fails. I'm just going to cancel straight away. Okay, 204 doesn't equal 404. 204 is no content. Oh God. Have we created more bugs? We probably have. Let's actually assume I created a bug where I didn't deal with this query set correctly. So I'm just going to copy that. We're going to go down here. So yeah, we handled that like that. That's perfectly fine. We don't do it up here, so I'm just going to paste the query set up there. We're also going to do the 404 stuff. So essentially, yeah, it'll be something like that. Go back to the destroy. Let's paste that in. So we've got the update change task, which we can just make change task. Yeah. This will actually send through a primary key. And then I'm just getting rid of that. I'm then just doing that. Don't jump. Come on. That's way too high for you now. You're nearly 12. All right. So change task ID equals get object. Yeah, we don't need the get object or 404 query change task. Yeah, filter quarks. Yep. All right, cool. I'm going that. Then we're setting change task equals deleted. All right, cool. Determine if the object exists for the request for change, and then update delete. Update to delete it. All right, cool. And that's just return. All right, sweet. So we found another bug. This is why we write unit tests. We are going to rerun the tests, see if this all works. It'll be good once I get rid of all the pagination stuff. I just got to do some research, that's all. So it looks like it's working. We've got 92 tests at the moment. This is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. All right. All right, cool. All done. Easy. So I'm quite happy with that now. So if we go back over to our code coverage, all of this should now be sort of sorted. This is change task. Yep. So we had it at 45%. What I'm going to do, git status, git add, git commit, update unit tests for change task API. Easy done. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here. We are going to go have a look at the pipeline. Yeah, we've got one running at the moment. We're just going to go into success. And thank you very much. I am Day. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. I'm terribly sorry if I butchered your name. I'm terrible with names. So we're going to go back into the artifacts. We're going to open up the index. What I'm going to do is search for API. So here we are. We're not going to worry about the permissions because the one good thing about this is because we're actually testing the permissions. We're actually literally going to hit 100% for the API permissions, but just not yet. So we're going to have a look at what we've done so far. Now I should, yep, those are like that. So customer list API is now up to 89%, which I forgot what it was on before. So the customer list API was on 54. It's now a lot higher. So if we actually have a look at this, we can quickly go through and we're like, all right, cool. If the destination isn't in any of those, and we're like, now I can quickly write a couple of tests very quickly to make sure that this works. This will be for the list, the serializer, destination, query parameters. Though, yeah, I should do it. We should also test for the requirement item in there. We can definitely get 100% in here very easily. Yeah, just socks. There we go. All right. I mean, that's just two extra tests we can do. I can do that very quickly. All right, I am seeing an error on YouTube. Yeah, the upload speed is fine. All right, I'm terribly sorry if you're on YouTube and seeing issues. So first off, what is this? Customer list API view. We want to go down in here. Wait. I want the tests. So we're going to open up tests. We're opening up API, the test API, test user permissions. We're going to open it up like this. We're just going to scroll all the way up to the top. We're just going to scroll down a little bit more. So this is what we're hitting. So I want to hit a Kanban. and that should be a 404 equals Kanban board. We'll also do requirement item in here. However, I want to make that to that. And that should be a 200. That will be fine. It's this one down here, which will give us a 404, because the Kanban board doesn't exist. And we are just going to do a, we could do a 1 and a 2 for that one. That one's fine. That's just to test this one particular line down here, if it isn't part of those particular objects. Just wondering how far down to, that's not far. We only need one to test that once. It doesn't matter of user permissions at that particular point. Hey Patty. So we're going to go Python 3 manage test. Patty. Ooh, we have an F. All right, so we have a, this one. So the Kanban board, did I put 400 instead of 404? I'm just having a look. Oh, yep, bad request. All right, cool. I'm just doing the test again. Hey, buddy. Oh, Patty. Come here. Yeah, bud. Come here. You gonna come over here? Yeah, alright. Do you want to say hello to everyone, Patty? He's like, no, not really. No. Okay. Hello. This is Patty. He's 15. All right. Looks like everything's run. So I'm happy with this. All right, cool. Yeah, everything's fine. That will handle both of those cases. So, oops, sorry, excuse me. Git status. All right, cool. Git commit. All right, that one's done. So I'm quite happy with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back over here. We've just pushed that, but we've got that other code that we pushed before. I'm going to see where it is at. So that is update unit test for change task API. All right, cool. That should be, yeah, the backend's run. Pretty good. So originally we had change task API at 45%. So let's have a look at our artifacts. Let's open them up. Let's search for our API stuff. So we've got API, change task API, 93%. All right, cool. So we don't have an issue. We're not testing for when the serializer is not valid or anything like that. That's perfectly fine for the moment. Yeah, we could easily write that in and get that one little tiny 100% and so forth like that. I mean, how would I do it? I would do a post with nothing in there. That's how I would do it. And then you would get a 400 bad request. Yeah. Other ways you could do it is you could always miss a required field and test it that way too. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. So yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm getting distracted with this. All right, so. Another one where, all right, cool. I'm not going to worry about that too much. The reason being is we are relying on the unit tests that Django does. What we could potentially do in the future is double check that all the required fields are still being done as required and stuff like that. But at the moment, no, that's a lot of work for very little gain. All right, so yeah, we've jumped from 45% up to like, what was it, 93? I'm happy with that. The coffee view, we're not worried about. The customer API, I think this is, yeah, we're dealing with that sort of case where it doesn't pass serialization. So we're gonna skip that one. 87, I think. All right, that's fine. If group list is none or length group list is, all right, so. If the count Kanban board name is greater than 0. All right, so we could do a couple of tests in here to get this to work. However, I think this in turn, I don't know if it passed there. We'll have to figure out something. If the page is not none, all right, cool. So it never does these conditions. Easy done. Yeah, all right, cool. So, we have this as a check in here. Because if something goes wrong, it's going to fail sending something to the user. Otherwise, it falls back on this serialization method. In which case, yeah, we're never going to hit this. To write a test to get to hit that, just not worth it. All right, cool. So I'm happy with the Kanban board view. Ooh, Kanban card API view. Now this one is all red because we just don't have any tests for it at the moment. That's perfectly fine. We can quickly do that one. And what are our unit tests at the moment? I'm just seeing how much percentage we've actually increased because usually, we back to blogs. 63. Oh, we've gone up 5%. Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, I think once we get the vast majority of this done, we'll hit the minimum requirement that we sort of set ourselves for the definition of done, the back end. Hey, sucks. You're not chasing Daddy? Alright, cool. Other things which we might look at is some of this other stuff, but also a lot of this we're okay. Get profile picture. All right, that's a simple call, but that's moving to the API. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of this is moving to the API. So we're not going to actually touch it. All right, so I'm happy with all of that. We said the card API view. I am going to jump over into here again. Just going to close that. We want to open up the views, open up the API. We want to open up the Kanban card API. So that's the organization data. I don't know if we've actually got a card in here. We don't? All right. All right, we've got the test for the Kanban board in here. That's perfectly fine. What we want to do is we then want to have test API Kanban card data, and yeah, we've got the self sort of stuff done. All right, and then from here we'll have data list equals, and then what we've got is something like this. I'm just going to copy it. It'll be Kanban card. We probably should do that for the other one too. I think that's just to help it stand out. So we'll have the self.url test. In this sort of case, the URL isn't like that. So we'll have a Kanban board, we'll have the ID, and then the Kanban card. So there's the list of all the cards. So it's just one. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it in. Do is we'll have a like that, and then once again, whoops, we'll have it like this, but we'll remove the forward slashes, and they'll be redirected to a 301. So we're testing the 301 redirects and stuff like that. All right, so that's the, if I write the CRUD down here just to keep reminding myself. So that's the reads, almost. So grab those two again. So we'll do a 1, we'll do a 2. We'll also remove that, we'll remove that, and then that'll be 301s. And then we've got to start testing the failures now. So if I go like this and I'll paste that in, we're going to put in a 2 and a 1, and this should be a 404. And we're going to actually test that over here. So if we put a card 1 in here, we're like, all right, cool, that works. That's perfectly fine. But if we put in a 2, that should fail, because that card is not connected to that Kanban board. So we're going to fix that up very, very quickly. Once again, we've got the Kanban card ID up here. We are just going to scroll down from the top. So the create we're fine with. We will come across that next. The destroy, we don't have any checks in here for this. So what we actually want to do is, if we actually go all the way down to the update, because we've done it, we should have done it in the update. So there's what we want. So the retrieve should also have in here. Actually, I'm going to do the destroy first. So it's going to be like that. Oops. Request user save. Yep, we're all happy with that. We just need to copy that one. The list we're fine with. The retrieve, we just need to paste that one in. We're fine with that. The update also, the update, we grab that from there. So we're fine with that. And then that, no Kanban card matches a given query. All right, sweet. So going back into the tests, what we've got is the CRUD. So we've done all of the read. Let's start doing the create, and then we'll do the update. And then we've got to do the delete. So the create should be pretty easy to do. So I'm just going to go into the Kanban card here. We've got a post. I'm going to do a bulk edit and keep a value pair edit. We're going to actually change quite a lot of these values because some of the values don't exist. So going in here, what we want to do, self.url test. We actually want these on new lines like that. So we want API version 0, Kanban board. We're going to start with one Kanban card like that. Then we'll have something like that, and then we'll have a tool one as a created, and it'll be a post. I'm just hoping I'm not hearing a cat meow. Let's get this data in. So we set up this like this. There we go, there's the cat meowing. Yes, Socks, what's the matter? There you go. Alright, getting there. Okay, cool. So I'm going to double check all of these. The car priority should be fine, but the Kanban column and level, I need to double check because I don't think they exist. So one way to do that is going to the Kanban board. So we've got, I'm going to go column 3, level 1. Easy done. So that should be fine. So what I'm going to do, once again, I'm just going to copy this. We're just going to paste it in. We've got all the tests. We're going to go for a number 2. We're going to go into here. We're also going to change that to a number 2. And we're going to go 6 and 3. All right, and everything in here should work. We might drop the priority down to a 2 for this particular one. Oh, ads in progress. Terribly sorry. There we go. For those on YouTube, we do this every half an hour because Twitch runs pre-rolled ads. I've said this 1,000 times, so yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, we've got about 40 seconds after the ads left. Alright, I'm just getting this all sorted. Alright, should almost be done. Welcome back, everyone. And Nocturnal, how are you today? Hopefully you're going good. How's the deadlifting? Oops, I made a mistake on that. All right, all of this should work. I should have run this during the ads. Just wait. Python 3 manage test. We're just going to do our tests. You're okay? Ah, that's good to hear. Yeah, I can't complain. I need to start planning a holiday. But other than that, yeah, no, I'm fine. Was a deload week last week. Fair enough. Fair enough, same. Just absolutely just task after task and stuff like that. I think I got to... I forgot what I did after stream on Friday. I don't even know how, I can't remember most of it. I was exhausted. Pretty sure I made a lot of mistakes. So yeah. Alright, ran all the tests. We're happy. Sweet. So what we want to do here... Oops, sorry. Test API, data... Yeah, so we're happy with all of that. I want to do one where it shouldn't work. So I'm going to copy both of these. I'm going to just paste it in like that. And we're just doing, let's say, 50 and 300. We're just doing 300. And 100 in there, and this should come back as a 403 because those particular columns don't exist. So this isn't technically testing for permissions, but we'll key it in there for the moment. By dead load, I mean waits to allow me to recover between waves. Ah, okay, oh, fair enough. Yeah. For some strange reason, I went straight to like work. I don't know why. But no, that's good. All right. I've got some more exercises now off on my shoulder, which is good. It's coming along well. Apart from that little bit of pain just then, which I honestly haven't felt much pain. It's been great. Yeah, I think I just shrugged it weirdly. All right, everything's running. Sweet. I'm going to stay in here to move these tests to specific Kanban card tests, as it does not really test permissions here. So these particular tests in here are just testing those permissions. We'll be doing specific testing elsewhere where we won't worry about the user and all that kind of fun stuff. And yeah. What's the matter, Socks? There you go. Yeah, you're getting the butt rub. All right. So now we're going to do the update. I'm just going to copy these again. And we're just going to do the update. So we know, in theory, what these numbers should be. So it should be a 3 and a 4. And it should come back as a 200. I'm just sending it as an update. And hi, welcome back, Rajput. Sorry, once again, I'm terrible with names. How you been? Hopefully your week's been well. Welcome back. How's your Monday treating you? All right, so all of that should be fine. And now we kind of want to test the ones where it doesn't work. So we'll go URL test. In this sort of case, it'll be API version 0, Kanban, board. I'm going to go to, and then Kanban card, and I'm going to go. This will be 3. Yep. And then we want the data. We're going to put nothing at the moment. This will be a 400 because it's a bad result. We'll have a post. At least I think it will be a 400. It might not be. It might be bad. Ro, can you collaborate with me in making a humanoid robot? I don't even know where to start. Yeah, sorry. I don't even know where to start. Alright, so we've got those two. Now the next thing we've got to do is we've got to do the redirect ones. Which will key these ones in correctly. And these will be 301s, like so. And then we're going to do the delete ones. Now, I think it'll be like that. So it'll be 400 because there's no object that connects here and so forth like that. And then once we're done, we will do a redirect and yeah. All right, I'm just gonna rerun these tests just in case those last sort of tests didn't quite make it. Which should be fine. How are your socks? Okay. So I'm just waiting for all of this to happen. I'm pretty happy it's passed those particular tests, so I'm just going to cancel there. What we want to do now is actually test the last of the delete. Yes, socks. I don't know about that, socks. Alright, and that should do, so we've done the create, read, update, and delete. That should do all of that. Yes, socks, come here. Yes, you can come up. No, don't touch the heater. Whoa. Say hi to everyone first. Say hi. She's like, no. We're gonna jump as fast as possible out of your arms. Okay. 93 tests. Alright, to be fair, a lot of that's test cases and stuff like that. Alright. Just doing all of that. We're fine with that. All right, cool. Git status. Git add. Git commit. Update to unit tests for Kanban cards. Easy done. I'm going to say unit tests are a lot easier when you're not exhausted. Okay, cool. So that one's done. So hopefully that jumps up to the 80s or 90s or if we're lucky 100%, but I don't think we will get up to 100%. We'll have a look at what it does later. But first, let's go back to here. Update the API unit tests. Going to the artifacts. Oh, sorry, I'm coming in. Now, what did we do? We ended up doing API, so we've got now 100% there. Yay! We've got 100%. Yeah, we're not worried too much about the 93% and so forth like that. We could do it and stuff like that, but I'm like, meh. Customer API, that's up 95%. Board, we've just done the card. We're just waiting for that to come back. The group and user API. Let's actually have a look at what that one's doing. So that one, that's a quick test, but that's not part of the permission test. Neither are these. I'm just going to say not part of the permission tests. We haven't hit the destroy. Alright, alright. Yeah, alright, no, that's not a problem. We'll leave it like that. Link API. This one's empty as... So this one definitely we should do. Ooh, 68. Alright, cool. Just also thinking object sprint API view. And then it'll be a couple of these. That one we could do, that one we could do, that one and that one. Alright, so we've got a couple left to do. But that's fine. So in here, we've got the sprint data. So this is get the sprint results. All right, cool. Yeah, a lot of this should be fairly easy to do. We've got the create and we've got the list. I think the tests for this, definitely we can hit. For this one, we've got the create. All right. Oh no. We can do this. That's not going to be a problem. The serializers. All right. Yep. This is the requirement API view. Yeah, we can easily hit this one too. The create, this is the requirement items. Yeah, we can. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 8 API areas done. To go, sorry. Sorry, I'm just having a quick think. Once I do those 8, I also got to do all the unit tests. Well, when I say unit tests, I use this word very loosely for the Vue stuff. Essentially, we're just making sure that everything boots up without crashing. So, yeah. All right. So that 8 should push that up to hopefully 75%, in which case I will then be happy with that. And then the next thing to do is, yeah, the unit test for the front. We just require setting it up so that every single component has just the basic, it will load. And then once that's done, it's just documentation, checkout tests, and bug fixes. All right, cool. Okay, sorry, had to actually think that through. So yeah, we're very close to our 75%. There's definitely some things in here that, like this permission, these permissions will actually increase the instant we do team leader and so forth like that. But also when we actually require this, which I do believe is somewhere. I gotta remember where that is. So yeah, all right. I'm just gonna close everything else because we've had a look. We're like, all right, cool. We're familiar with it now. I'm gonna close this. We'll come back to it through here once this one's done. Oh, it's done. So 68%, all right, cool, that's fine. I mean, we can get that to 100, but I'm just gonna say no. Hang on. Going back to this. Update unit tests for that. And Memo, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome. And welcome everyone from Memos. Thank you very much. Pip Inno Mortal for the follow. Welcome. So I'm Robotic Head. I'm working on an open source project management system called NearBeach. Today we're actually doing more unit tests. So we are trying to get more confidence in our code, specifically around the API. So yeah, I'm just writing a lot of unit tests at the moment. Yeah, so NearBeach is an open source project management system. Let me just bring it up here. You can gather basic organization and customer details. From there, you can create sort of user requirements from the user and break that down into requirement items. Think user stories. From there, you can create projects, tasks, or Kanban boards to help you sort of track how to, manage your own project. And when you're ready to deploy, you've got a request for change. So yeah, just in case anyone has ever done one of those. It's been a while, but yeah. All right, so yeah, we're just doing unit tests today. I'm just finding out why some of my code coverage isn't code coveraging. It's probably something very, very simple. So it's saying it's at 36% even though I've got unit tests for it. And I'm definitely hitting a lot of this stuff in here. So I'm definitely hitting the create. I'm definitely hitting the Kanban cards and stuff like that. So I don't know why it's not working. One reason why it could not be working is the function name. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab that, I'm going to paste it in, and I'm going to go card. Another thing I'm going to do is assert, I think it's self. Is put something false in. All right. And we are just going to quickly run that test. We're going to go Python 3, manage test. Just going to do a quick run like that. And it should fail. There you go. We've got the fail. So I'm happy with that. So we are definitely hitting those results. So I'm going to now delete that and delete that. But yeah, we should be hitting the API with the Kanban card. I'm just going to rerun the tests. No one's there, socks. Sorry, my cat's looking over there for some strange reason. Alright. So we've got 93 tests. Sorry, this does take a little while. I do apologize. Alright, it should be finishing very shortly. There we go. So it ran all the tests. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to go get the status to see if there's any differences. There are not. So I don't know why. It's not doing the code coverage for that, considering these are actually hitting that location. This should be hitting that specific API and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was an issue. But not a problem. What we're going to do is we're going to open up the index. We've got the coverage report. We're going to go down here. We're going to do the next lowest one with the API. So we've got the card, API view, easy done. We've got that one's okay. It's this link API view, which is going to be something we're going to do. All right, straight off the bat, we don't worry about the get list or anything like that. We're worried about the CRUD in here. So now that's a create. We want the list first. Got the destroy. There's our list. So it looks like we don't do everything in here. It looks like we create, destroy, and list. So we've got the destination coming through, and then we get the list. This is probably one of those things where we're like, do something here, don't we? So parameters, destination, type of object you are querying must be one of the follows. I think this is one of the things that we've got to update now. So this will get it from the query string and not the class. Oh, hang on. Use API object data. I might be wrong on that. Let's have a look. Now, I can close that one because I got this one open. It will be object data. It will be, let's say, project one. So that's the destination, and then we want to link. No. All right. So we've got the sprint link. I don't know how this is set up now. All right, cool. It's not object data. It'll be like project one and then the link, and then it shows you the links that are inside it. So in this sort of case, this has nothing coming back. That's perfectly fine. Project, it might not have any links in it. And that's perfectly fine. All right, cool. I'm just wondering what objects in my fixture has links in it. So I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm just going to go to the front end. We're going to go into task. We're going to scroll down. We don't have any links there. All right, cool. We're just going to go project information. Let's go one. If we actually create a link in here, which is pretty easy to do, let's go requirements and let's go, yeah, we'll grab both of those requirements. We'll link both of them in. This one should instantly change to have those particular things in there. Now, an empty result doesn't mean a fail in this sort of case. We're looking at the status code. The status code is still 200. The active results just mean there was no data, and we're happy with that. So, what we want to do is we're going to go all the way up to the top, and we're going to find link in here. Create more links against all objects. Oh, yeah. All right. Yes, all right. Because the links happen at the object level. We're only testing permissions in this sort of case. So we're making sure that those users who can create links can create links, and those who can't. Waiting for object assignment to pass through into the get data. Write functionality, delete both users and groups. Waiting until the object assignment ID passes. All right, cool. That might actually happen sooner rather than later. Because, yeah, gotta make my mind up on things. So the good news is with the permissions, it should work no matter what, but we've always got to test it no matter what. All right, cool. So the one problem is this isn't as simple as writing this information here. I've got to write it with all the other possible places that we do linking. And then when we do all the permission check, yeah, all right, cool. All right. Let's put in the link tests in here. So self URL test, what we're going to grab is API version 0, project 1 link. Easy, done. We don't need to send it any data. We're expecting a 200 from a simple get. And if I copy and paste that down to there, we should get 200 from both the project 1 and project 2. For those that have just joined, I'm testing as the administration user right now. All of these tests will be copied and pasted for a lower permissioned user. So the idea being is we'll test for a read-only user and stuff like that, and that will change these particular values. Anyway, I am terribly sorry. I just need to go to the bathroom very, very quickly. It is an ad break, so I will be right back. Enjoy socks. I am back. Oh, and just as the ad break has finished. All right, cool. Give me a couple of seconds. I'll just put my gloves back on. because it is somehow still cold here. We had a lovely set of warm days and then absolutely nothing recently. It is, oh, annoying. All right, cool. Getting back into this. So those should work perfectly fine. And then the idea being is object assignment ID, let's say 40. That shouldn't happen. All right, cool. Yeah, we don't have much when it comes to testing this. We've got doing that. Let's close that. Let's open up the object. This will be part of the link. What is it called? Object data. Link API view. All right, so if we scroll down on here, we're ignoring the get list. We're going to do the create next. So in here, I'm just writing down create read destroy and list. So we don't have an update or anything like that. All right, so if we do a create, what we're sending is destination type or that you're linking to must be the following location ID. Yep. All right, cool. Object type, the object that is you're trying to link, there will be those. A list of IDs for the object type. All right, cool. Yep. So it's pretty simple. I'm just going back over here. We're going to minimize that. We're going to minimize that. We have in here object data, and we have link. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bulk edit. All right, cool. And we're going to go in here and we're going to create one. So self URL test API version 0. We're going to go and state it is for project 1. We're going to go link. We're going to key in some data. We've got a 2 to 1 and it's going to be a post. Now we need to bump this on to new lines. Like so. We're going to do it like that. And then we're just going to go boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. All right, so that should create it. You okay there, Patty? Alright, give me a couple of seconds. Oh, nope, he's getting up and walking away. Alright, cool. Alright. So that should create it pretty easily. If we copy this, and we paste it in like there, that should be fine. If we go over here, it should be 40 and 41. If the fixtures are not lying to us. So yeah. Alright. So we've got the object ID coming back now. And what I gotta do is then delete it. So we've created it. We're only doing it for all the projects here. We're not worried about any other link. Alright. So sorry, I've just got to think how this all connects and so forth like that. All right, so I'm going to do the delete. So self.url test link. Now we know it's going to be 40. We're going to send no data. I'm going to make this not work. I'm going to do a 2, and this should be a 404 and a delete. And we're going to do it around the other way. So we're going to go 1, and then it'll be a 41, and then we should absolutely do that. And then it should be a 1 and a 2. This should be a 203, as in no content 204. And in theory, that should be done. Yeah, in theory that should be done. Now this one says to create more links because, well, we do need to kind of sort of delete the links to test them and stuff like that. I'm just going to run another test. Oh, we failed. All right, we've got 4 failures. 400 doesn't equal 404. Now, I'm going to double check the code. So if we go down to the delete, so there's the create. If we go down to the destroy, I've got that remove object filter, a destination location is deleted, object assignment ID, it'd be up. All right, cool. If the link equals that response, 400 bad requests. All right, so I've gotten that wrong. That's easy. That's just me updating this to 400. Easy done. So we want to tell the user that, yeah, there's something that they've done is wrong. And then $400 doesn't equal 204 when we're doing the link and stuff like that. All right. It was just a guess that we would get those two numbers. But it's highly likely because we're adding in stuff and doing other stuff in here, the fixture's moved on, which is very hard to sort of kind of plan for. All right. One way I would fix this is to rebuild the fixture and get the exact IDs and stuff like that. That is, and then not rely on this particular delete functionality. That's how I would do it. So let's do that right now. I'm going to remove from the database. I'm just going to destroy the database. I'm going to go Python 3 manage migrate and Python 3 manage load data from the NearBeach fixtures, the basic setup. So we're just going to do that very, very quickly. There it is. It's just passing through. I'm just going to hit stop for the server. All right, it is done. We are going to hit play on the server. And what we're going to do is we're going to jump onto the server as admin. We're going to find all objects. We're just going to go and deal with the projects at the moment. So with the projects, we're going to connect them up to requirements. Other projects. and tasks. Easy done. So that connection's there at the moment. We are going to stop the thing for a second. I'm going to reload it. We're going to go Python 3 manage dump data with an indent or two and a format of JSON into the NearBeach fixtures basic setup. So we've just added some more data into our fixture, which is awesome news. We are going to go into localhost. We are going to open up our little thing here. We're going to go into project 1. We're going to have a look at the network. We're going to filter for links. So this is the object link list. This is all the data we have, but we don't actually have what we need. Not a problem. So we're just going to refresh this page. Here's all our links. So we've got 43 and so forth like that. I should jump onto the other project and add some more in that way. The one problem is, as we do this, we're going to come across an issue where we've got like a task or something that we've got to test it also for, but we don't. I'll jump over that hurdle when we get to it. All right, so once again, we're just testing permissions. I mean, this will technically work. Yeah, all right. I'm going to go into number 2. I'm also going to add links into here too. We won't need to add in the project because it's already linked in. So all of that's linked in. We're going to dump the database again for the fixtures. There we go. All right. In here, we are only going to, let's say, delete the task one. So that'll be 43. And we'll go 40. 46. All right, so 43 and 46. So all of that should, in theory, work. And then I want to do Python 3 manage test. Now we're just going to wait. Okay. It's looking like it's going to win. Okay, cool. 93 tests done. All right, so with this one, we should have hit this testing up here. So what I'm going to do is git status, git add, git commit, update unit tests for testing links on projects. We'll need to actually implement more of this. However, at the moment, like I said before, we're only testing permissions at the moment. It will definitely be doing further testing where we can get either a custom fixture or either use one of the other fixtures and play around with the data and do double checking and stuff like that. But until then, we're only testing to make sure that the admin user can do this, and then once this is copied and pasted down, making sure that, you know, the other users have or have not got the permissions depending on the setup. Okay, so that should cover that. That should now jump up. That will take a while. Oops, I want /API/. And this one is, yeah, the Kanban card. I don't know why that one's so low. We are definitely hitting that. We just tested that too. Yeah. All right. Should be done that one. All right, sorry, I'm just trying to have a good think here at the moment. We have a bunch of all this data. We are getting close. All right. I'm probably done for the unit test tonight. All right, let's do U-track. Oh, yeah. Oh, can't type. There we go. Got there eventually. So I'm gonna have a quick look at what issues I've got at the moment. So we've got one major one. Change task, removing links does not update the list. I think user has to refresh the page. All right, we can quickly test this one. So if we go to localhost, I'm just gonna bump this off to the left so you guys can see what I'm doing. Oh, sorry, bump that off to the right so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let's go find all objects. Let's go, all right, cool. Let's do this. Let's do the run sheet. What is it? Log into NearBeach. Navigate for an open request for change. Navigate to the change task section on the click alert. Remove any of the blocked links. All right, I'm gonna have to load some data up. So I'm gonna remove the database. we're going to go Python 3 manage migrate, and Python 3 manage, we want to load data from our NearBeach fixtures, and we're going to do the GDPR setup, mainly because we've got a lot of data in there. So yeah, we're just loading that up. I know I'm going to have to refresh. I'm just going to close some tabs that I don't need open at the moment. So we're just going to close a lot of them. So this is still running the tests. All right, done. So I've just got to reboot the server. And then we go over here. We're going to hit refresh. We're going to log back in. I'm just going to do admin. I'm just going to go find all objects. We're going to do request for status 1. We've got down here. All right. So if I go into here, it's saying that if we delete this, now that shouldn't be saying migrate link. Yes. All right. So change tasks with the links, they can only really be blocked. However, we're very flexible. If someone were to key that into the backend that they relate, it will just ignore them. So there's another bug in here. If we take a screenshot, I'm just gonna, yeah, we're just gonna copy that. I'm just gonna go over here. We're just gonna create that very quickly. So change task, deleting block link should not tell user about migration. All right, so method 1, log into NearBeach to go to a draft RFC, request for change. 3, go to a change task that has a number of blocks assigned to it. 4, delete one of the blocks. Okay, so expected results. User is asked if they want to remove the block. Actual results, yes, no, answer only, yes / no, answer only. Actual results, there is a migrate link option. Links won't be able to migrate. So, this migrate link functionality is built for elsewhere. So let's say you've got a task that blocks another task, and you sort of complete that task to unblock it. You might want to delete that block status and change it to something else, in which case this allows you to do that. So yeah. This is, it's a normal one. Worst case scenario, it won't cause any issues. There's last word. I'll keep it in this particular version, but we'll probably move it on. All right, so removing the link doesn't actually do anything. So if I open up this and I'm going to open up my network tab, I'm just going to hit delete link. With the response that we get back, we don't get anything else back. Let's have a look at the console. I don't get anything from the console either. So, in this sort of case, I'm just wondering if we need to apply after the fact. Sorry, I'm having a quick think how I can solve this. What I'll do is I'll actually have a look at the data. So we're going to go npm run watch over here. We need to actually have a look at the debug machine. I'm also having a quick look at the bugs very, very quickly. So we have, all right, and then they're all pretty stock standard simple. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Refresh. All right, cool. So as you see, refreshing does delete it. If we have a look at the VueJS, I'm going to bump this off to the left so you guys can actually see. If we have a look at the VueJS, we've got down here the task lists and stuff like that. So we've got a linked list down here. As you see, we're not seeing any other of the links. There's change task, draft, no link relationships there. And then you got blocked. And then blocked. And then blocked. And then when you hit this, we should have a confirmation one. Confirm delete. Oh, it's not. But I am sending, if I delete that link, I am sending that link up. So link ID 109 to the change task 2803 meta object link connection. All right, let's have a look. So that will be part of the confirm object removal. Now that's for the Gantt chart. Oh, are we using, oh no, that's, render go, no, confirm object removal. Yeah, we've got it there. And we've just hit another ad break. All right, this will be the last ad break of the evening. Yeah. Hopefully everyone's going well. Oh, there's Socks. She's sleeping. She's very tired. All right. Yeah, I'm wondering if I'm doing something completely and utterly different. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. We will find out. All right, stream health. All right, refresh. All right, and welcome back everyone. So, getting back into this, let's find out where I'm calling this properly. So I'm just going to close all tabs, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the view. I'm going to hit the components. We know that usually what I do is I keep these particular components outside, so I usually would have them change task description, confirm, link, delete. So if I go into here, so we've got this confirm, link, delete, and then we have a bunch of information that we've keyed through. I'm just having a quick look at the procs and stuff like that. We don't have any procs, but we can pass things down into it, like enabling merge as default is a true, and then we just turn it off when we don't need it. That will fix 2 bugs with 1 stone. From here, we have, so we've got the data to send, form data, data to send dot set, yada yada yada. That sends it to this, and then update emit, update link results. So that actually updates the link results. All right, now we're getting somewhere. But first what I want to do is I want to go into here and go hide migrate button equal, that will be a type clean, default is false. And what we're going to do up here is we've got that up here. So is blocked and hide migrate button and not hide migration button. All right. Now I'm going to flip that. I'm going to say show migrate button. We're going to go down here and we're going to show migrate button, and by default we are going to show it. So thus we have to turn it off. All right, so in here, this will be the change task module. So I'm just going to minimize everything. We're going to open up this. We're going to go source, JavaScript, components. We're going to go down and change task. So it was the change task modules. And then we've got a bunch of all of this. So we've got the change task, and then we've got the confirm, link, delete, and then we go and go vbind show migrate button equals false. That way, bang, we can't get them to migrate that at all. The other thing is what happens when we tell it, hey, we've got this. All right, so object link. All right, all right, cool. And then what we want to do is update link results. So in here, we want v on update link results, and this is where this is where I figure stuff out very, very quickly. So we've got the theme coming down, we've got the components, we've got the before mount. Where is the data that I want? I don't know. That's why we're going to jump over here very, very quickly. We're going to open up this. We've got the change tasks. We've got all of that in there, but we don't have the blocked by. Where is this information kept? If we have a look at the components, got the change task modules. So there's the confirm link delete. And then we've got the change task link list. There's the data. All right. This is going to be a little bit more work, because I now need to do one of two things. Either A, move this into Vuex and handle everything from there. That way, if there's any CRUD changes and stuff like that, it's handled appropriately. The other thing is, this could be at the wrong level. We might want that under here, so it's part of here. So notice how you got the new link wizard down here and so forth like that. That might be something. And I might need to double check that. So if we go, let's say localhost project information 1, and we scroll all the way down to the bottom, we click in the link objects in here. I'm just going to create a quick link very, very quickly. Let's say a task. Let's just bump in a couple of tasks randomly. Let's go save changes. They're in there. So if I just hit refresh, so we've got a base date, we open up this, we're going to go into the parents module, we're going to open up that, we're then going to go into the linked objects, which should be that one. Yep, perfect. And then we've got a bunch of sub object links in there, and then in here we've got the link results, but confirmed link delete. Yeah, all right, so I've got it at the wrong level. That's something very easy that we can fix. So we would delete these lines from here, like so. And what we would do is, so we've got the change task modules. We now need to go to the change task link list. So that will be under modules, change task link list in here. So we're going to scroll all the way back down. Modal for new, and then we're just going to paste it in here like this. And then that should be fine. And then it's as simple as just keying in that data in there too. Update link results. Should be it. All right, so I'm going to move this off to the right. We're going to hit refresh. We're going to delete this one, and boom. And then if we create a new link, boom, boom. All right, that's easy done. So we've fixed 2 bugs with 1 stone, and that other thing is gone too. Easy. Just got to make sure it is still appearing when we got the blocked. So I am moving that to the right. We've got the linked objects. We've got the relates to. So if we delete the relates to, it's not there. But if I go, let's say this task is currently blocking. So in here is currently blocking. If I delete migrate link, and it migrates it automatically to a related thing. All right. So we've actually fixed 2 bugs tonight. That is awesome. I'm going to go that for ready for retesting. Where was the other one? Change task, user not updating when another makes some modification. Blah, 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 blah. No, that's not it. Oh, yep. So that's ready for retesting. All right, let's go over here. Let's do that. Let's remove static. Let's go git status. All right, we did make those changes. Bug fix, we're going to key in this one, and then we're going to key in the other one too. So 2 bug fixes. Neat. And we're just going to push that. Okay. It's all sorted. I'm happy. I'm just wondering if I should do a push tonight. No, I'm going to say no for that. We can actually fix a few more bugs next time. But yeah, like for example, customer pagination needs to be applied to associate objects. That's a big one. We've got to do that. GDPR wizard, remove a user data. Oh yes, we've got to go through that one too. Read-only users can, yes, I've got to do that also, and change task, use it not updating when another user makes a modification. Yes, I've got to fix all of those. Alright, so I'm just having a quick think. Yeah, we should do unit tests on the change task sort of stuff. But not tonight. Definitely not tonight. All right. They finished. All right. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to do a push tonight. I don't think that justifies it yet. But we've got a bunch of unit tests that we've done tonight. If we jump into here, I don't know why the Kanban cards isn't finding that code. That is annoying me. Hang on, I think I just figured it out. Close all tabs. I think I just figured it out, and it's going to be so silly. All right, who wants to know? It's probably really silly. We're going into tests. We're going into test API. We're going to test this particular thing. We're going to go Kanban card. We're going to go down. We got all these tests and we don't fucking run them. Excuse my French. We got to run the test at the end of it. That's it. That was it. That's why it wasn't working. Alright, now the problem is I could have done a lot of things in here thinking that it was going to work, but it probably doesn't. So I'm going to test locally first. And we're going to find out if I've broken stuff. I have. They don't all work. None of them work. This whole entire time. We'll start from the bottom. Failed test API Kanban data test user permissions URL test API version 0 Kanban board 2 Kanban card data equals nothing. We expect 200 when we delete. We get a 2 or 4. Yep. that is correct. We actually get a 204, not a 200. Okay, cool. That and that are done. We 400. All right, let's double check that. So NearBeach, views, API, Kanban card, delete, destroy. So it goes through 404. All right, cool. So we do 404 out here, not 400. These ones I never did that. All right. Yeah, that should be better. Let's have a look at how it runs now. Okay, we've still got some Fs, not a problem. We're just going to stop it. So API Kanban 0 to the Kanban card 4 /. This is a post. This is to do an update. Method not allowed. Hang on, give me a couple of seconds. I might have... Yeah, all right, I've done something silly. So those will fail. This should be a put. This should be a put. That's a 403. Yeah, those should be work fine. Alright, we've got a bunch of fails. Let's have a look now. We should be lowering the fails as we go along. Status code 400, method post, 405, method not allowed. Ooh. Oh yeah, these are meant to be puts. Whoops. All right. 400 doesn't equal 403. So we're hitting API version 0, Kanban board, Kanban card. We got the data, Kanban card, 50, all right, cool. So we're saying that this post is 400 when it's meant. We're saying it's meant to be 403, but we output a 400. This is testing when, yeah, it's out of range for that stuff. So we'll quickly have a look. So we've got the Kanban card ID in here. So what we want to do is we want to have a look at the creates serializer in here. All right, we do 400s. And we're was saying 403. Alright, no, I've got that wrong. Yep, that's 400. Easy done. So that covers that. That covers that. We've got a 201. So that is going to create that. We've got a 201. All right, so we actually have a problem in here where when we create, we send that back. So we found a bug. All right, let's rerun the tests. Let's see how we go this time. So every single time we write unit tests, we always find bugs, and that's why we keep writing unit tests. They've been rather good. All right, we're almost there. All right, so git status, git add, git commit, fixes to the Kanban card unit tests, along with quick fixes for behavior. Easy done. We'll push that up. Let's see what we now get with our tests. So I'm going to close this. We're going to go into here. We're just going to open up NearBeach. This is going to take forever and a day to run. I think it takes us about 5 minutes. All right. I'm going to say no. I'm not making you guys wait that. We are actually going to rate someone. So yes. Let's go ahead. It is 10 o'clock at night. I've got to start winding myself down and get some sleep tonight. So yeah. Thank you very much everyone for coming tonight. We're going to rate NSS Dev. So yeah. Thank you very much everyone for being here. It has been wonderful. We got a lot done with the unit tests. I'm actually quite happy. I'm hoping to hit that 75% soon. We'll probably end up doing some more bug fixes and stuff like that and documentation during the week. Just to spread things out. Yeah, just to spread things out. But yeah, we got far with the unit tests. I'm happy. And yeah, hopefully we're on track for next week's massive shakeout tests with all the different databases. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much everyone, and I shall see you next time. And for those on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. It does actually help the channel, and thank you very much.